Ciao everyone, welcome back. Today's video is going to be an amazing one. So let's start. I'm going to talk about my editing workflow. I am going to tell you more about each steps that you can see already here. And we are going to focus today on editing anchor images using film scans as a reference and also evaluate the cohesiveness of all anchor images alongside the film scans. Throughout the signature style sessions that I have done so far, I have noticed that these two steps are the ones where photographers tend to struggle the most, at least my clients. So I wanted to focus on these two. Plus, I just edited a gorgeous catalog for D'Arcy Benincosa. You might know her. She is a renowned film fine art wedding photographer, as well as a fantastic business coach. So I am going to show you how I created anchor images for her, digital anchor images using film scans that she shot in Paris as a reference, and then we are going to evaluate the cohesiveness of that. But before, let me just briefly tell you what I already have done in this catalog so that you have a full picture of the editing workflow. So what I have already done is catalog organization. So basically, I imported all of the digital images that she sent me, along with all of the film scans that she sent me, and I created a single Lightroom catalog. And then I created collections and I created a custom order into this collection. So for every collection, I just dragged and dropped the images into an order that is streamlined for me to edit. So I'm not going to jump back and forth from one camera body to another or one camera lens to another. And I'll have a reference, a set of images with exact same lens, camera body, lighting situation. That way is going to be seamless, the editing workflow for me and for you as well if you decide to take tips from me. From my workflow, of course, I didn't mention this. I have a free editing guide linked down below, as well as an editing course. Feel free to just download the free editing guide. That way you'll be on my email list and I can email you a discount code that I have for August. And as well, you receive more in the future because I'm always sending my email list the discounts that I'm creating for, I don't know, Black Friday every occasion. So you'll be the first one to know, actually the only one, because I don't share anywhere else. Let's move forward. I have already rated anchor images. As you can see from the screenshot here, I use color codes instead of rating, but I know photographers like to rate images with 5 stars. So I'm going to explain how I decide which colors to use, and I'm going to show you another color code later. So here I can already tell you red color code is digital anchor images that I'm creating for this catalog for her, and I labeled with a yellow color code the film scans that she shared with me. And then I'm going to have a green color code, which I'm going to talk about later. Now we are going to focus on editing anchor images using film scans as a reference, evaluating the cohesiveness, and what I'm not going to show you in today's videos because it would be too long is the next steps. So after what we are going to do today, you should utilize anchor images for efficient batch editing. So basically using the red color-coded images to edit the batch of images with similar conditions, lighting conditions, same camera body and lens. That way you're going to be able to very fast sync the settings from the reference to the batch of images that need to be edited, and then revise and move forward and just do minor tweaks or just check the AI masks if you use those. I highly recommend. I also have an entire module on that in my course. Then I'm going to edit black and white and review those, just the black and white. And then I'm going to review again the AI mask because sometimes Lightroom does not do a good job at applying masks. So I want to make sure that those are perfect. And then the last step in my editing workflow is to review the cohesiveness of edits in the catalog, which is different from what we are going to do today, but you get a sense of what you should do and with what tools that you already have in Lightroom, which are very, very helpful. So I have already told you what this screenshot is. These are the red color-coded anchor images that we're going to edit together using the left, the yellow-coded images, which are the film scans. Let's start from the first video. So basically, while I was editing this, it was the busy season for me. I'm now on holiday and vacation today, and I'm recording this video for you. But basically, I just screen recorded myself while I was editing this catalog for her last week because it was a very fast turnaround time. So I did not have the time to record myself talking and explaining. And I think it's faster this way because I can just show you and see how many film scans she sent. Let me finish the sentence. I can just show you what I have done and articulate and explain what I'm doing. Disclaimer, I'm not going to share the develop panel the right column because I created a custom preset for her and I didn't want to disclose that, of course, because she's a renowned photographer, and also I don't want to give away my clients' presets that I create for them since they pay me to do that. It's a service that you can find. So in here, I pasted the preset that I created for her, and then I can see that I lowered the exposure. Exposure most of the times need to be tweaked. And then let me do this faster. And then what I can see is that let me pause. I changed the hue of his skin tone with the color mixer, which was called HSL panel. It's now called color mixer. There is a tool there where you can click on the skin and then you can drag up or down the saturation, the hue, and the luminance, and basically change that. I can see that I did that here. And then I was creating a mask, as you can see, for the background. That one is on sale on my website. Because that one is one that I created and I'm sharing with all of my clients. It's so good. Everyone has been asking about it and raving about it. It's basically an AI mask that automatically detects the background and makes it more film look. So it emulates film for the background. So whatever preset you're using, that one is going to help you with emulating film. And it's just a no-brainer for me. The next film scan I'm going to disregard. As you can see, I'm just moving forward with another image because D'Arcy shared with me her preferences and I know that she prefers cooler edits, so that resulted too warm for her taste, so I didn't end up using. Of course, I'm always keeping in mind my clients' preferences and notes that they share with me. So I'm going back to use the film scan on the left that I was using before, checking that the image on the right that I'm editing looks perfect. I just pasted the settings here and it was already looking great with the preset plus the eye masking applied to the background. Then in here, I'm going to edit this image. Again, you can see that I have just pasted the preset that I created for her on the image on the right, which is the digital anchor image, and the image on the left is the film scan. It's a tad too warm for her, so I am adding a touch of cooler tones, for example, in her hair, just adding that nice contrast, and I also added in a mask to her dress, just making the dress emulating more the look of matching better her film scan, actually. Let's see how that turned out. The AI mask always take a few seconds to work, but it's a time saver for you. And then I am moving towards the next image. I crop the image, I'm adding exposure, and then added the mask to, this is the final result. I added the mask to the dress. As you can see, it might seem time consuming. It definitely is time consuming. of course, to create these images, to create these digital anchor images, but it makes the editing process that comes later, the batch editing process, much faster and easier. And let's see how this one turned out. This one turned out great. As you can see, it's just a matter of pasting the preset, pasting the AI masking tool, adjusting if needed. This one is way darker. I'm raising exposure. I crop the image, straighten the image. I like to crop 4:3 because it better emulates the look of 120 film, as I know she is shooting with a Contax. And I created gradient here. I was raising blacks because her right arm was too dark, and I was also adding a touch of warmth and pink to make the color, the tone of her skin tone there better, and I think it does a great job. I'm adjusting the mask, and that is the final result, and I think it looks great. Of course, I'm keeping that natural. I didn't want to add too much because it would end up very fake and very artificial. This one is one of my favorite. I just pasted the settings. I think I know what I'm going to do here. I'm going to create, I'm just adjusting the crop. Let's move forward. Adjusted the crop, and then I adjusted the mask to the background, checked that it was automatically detecting the background because she is in the background here. So I was concerned that she was not being masked. And then, yeah, that's it. I have moved forward to the next image, cropped the image, checking masks, the one applied to the background and the one applied to her dress. And then I'm moving forward to another film scan, cropping, straightening, raising exposure, decreasing shadows, checking the AI masks there. As you can see, the one on the background is always applied because I think, sorry, it emulates film so good. I'm making my digital anchor images cooler compared to the film scans because this is what D'Arcy asked me to do. She shared her preferences with me, so just a tad cooler. And I am erasing blacks on his chin because he was not facing the light and his face was darker. I then move forward to another batch of images. The one on the left is the JPEG, and the film scan, and the one on the right is the digital anchor image. I pasted the settings. I am adding warmth with a temperature slider, checking the crop and the AI masks. And I'm adding another mask here, a radial gradient, where I am lifting the blacks in that part of the image where they are in the shade because I didn't want that part of their skin to be too saturated. So that is the reason why I'm lifting blacks instead of shadows, because it also affects the saturation. Let me see what I did here. Nothing. I just made sure, revised, and moved forward, copying the settings from that image that I just edited, because I know that the next image is going to have similar lighting condition. And then in here, I'm just going to paste, crop, raising exposure, and moving forward to the next one. Adjusting the crop, decreasing exposure. What am I doing? Decreasing exposure, and that's it. This one, applying the preset. Let me check. So what I did here was checking that the mask there was applied to the background, and I also added a mask to the dress so that I could better emulate and match the film scan. That's it. I'm going to copy and paste mask number 1 and mask number 2, and I'm also going to add a mask to her gloves because I can see that In the film scan, the glows are much darker and more beautiful. So what I did was using an AI mask that was automatically detecting the glows. And you can see that for each image that I was editing, I was just retouching the mask because as I was doing the AI mask with the object, if you brush on an object, it's going to automatically detect the object, and then you can copy and sync the settings to the next images, but you always need to check because Lightroom does not do a perfect job at copying and pasting that. Of course, I'm also editing images where she's moving her arms a lot, so that was needed. Let's move forward with the third video where I am going to show you, I'm going to fast. Mask number 3, I just deleted. So here, what I did here is very important. So let me go back and show you with a normal speed. Basically, I clicked on the mask. I clicked on mask number 3, which was the one on the gloves. And as you can see, there is an object there, object number 1, which is detecting this part of the image where her glove was in the image where I copied the settings. But it's not in this position now. So instead of adjusting that, what I did was clicking on object number 1 and I deleted that. So it's still keeping the mask for me, it's still keeping the settings, but I deleted the brush on the object. And then what I did was to add new objects, and I am just very broadly, I'm not doing a perfect job at brushing. This is what I want to say. I just brush on the gloves and it's automatically detecting the glove for me. Now this looks perfect. I revised that everything else in the image looks okay, and I move to the next image. You can see here, very bad here. Mask number 3, again, click on object number 1, delete that, and click on add an object and automatically detecting that. That looks better. Adjusting the crop and moving forward to another image. So basically here what I did was going back to this digital anchor images image, copying the settings from there and pasting the settings here. And then I'm cropping, checking that it looks good. I think I added a mask to his hair because there was too much light there, and I just decreased exposure. Here what I'm doing is going back to this image, the one on the right, copying the settings because the next image that I need to edit is this one, which has similar conditions, similar locations, similar lighting condition. So I just pasted settings. I'm trying to talk too fast. And then I removed that. The AI tool is doing a perfect job at removing objects. I have a tutorial on that on my channel if you're interested in that. I'm lifting the blacks from that part of the image where they are in the shade, and I adjusted exposure and the mask on the dress. And then what did I do to the background? I am making the background less cool, so much warmer. Mask number 3, deleted the object, raising blacks there, and then I moved. This is the final result just to show you. Of course, you can always pause the video. If I'm talking too fast, I'm going too fast. And then I moved to this batch of images where she was indoor. So I'm using the image on the left, the film scan, and I'm editing the image on the right. I just pasted the preset here, and then let me move. Okay, I pasted the film background preset, and then I'm creating a new mask for what? I don't remember. Let's see. I'll create a mask for the dress, just matching the film scan, the color, the tones, and the exposure there. Copying the settings from this one since I just edited that and pasting on the next image that I need to edit while still using the same film scan as a reference. I am raising the blacks in those darker parts where her skin is much darker. I adjusted the preset in the background and moved forward to the next image. I think here I just decreased exposure, adjusted the skin tone, and added another radial gradient where I lifted the blacks so that I could remove some saturation from this part of her skin. And then I'm copying the settings from this one because it's very similar to the next one, pasting the settings, adjusting the crop. So here what I did was raising the exposure, warming up the image, creating a linear gradient. As you can see, I'm affecting what I'm moving my hand. I'm affecting the part of the image on the bottom left. I am decreasing whites there, or you can do highlights as well because it's not too saturated. And I'm doing the opposite on the other corner where I am lifting exposure and blacks, adjusting the background because it was too cool where I can see in the film scans that it was tad warmer. So I adjusted that. And I think here I was just revising these images. So basically I am selecting not all of the, actually all of the red color-coded images and the yellow color-coded images there, which are my film scans that I reordered so that I could easily pull up a reference, a film scan, and the red color code, which was the image that I needed to edit, which I just showed you. So I'm going to select all of these, and with the survey mode, if you have, of course, you have a keyboard, why? Press N on your keyboard and it's going to open up the survey mode, which will give you this white canvas, and you'll be able to select or deselect a number of images so that you can have larger previews or smaller previews, and check that these edits look consistent. As you can see, I am previewing film scans and let me go back. Film scans and anchor images, digital ones, and it looks cohesive, at least to me. And then I have also selected the green color coded images, which in this case, for what I was doing here, I gave a green color code to the images that were shot with another camera body and another lens. As you can see, the red color coded images are images that she shot with a Canon R6 with a 50mm lens, and the green color codes are a 5D Mark IV with a zoom lens. So I know that two camera bodies and two lenses render colors and tones differently, as well as contrast, exposure, etc. So what I did was focusing on the main camera body and main lens that she used, and then I'm going to match the second camera body and the second lens to the first one. So making sure that it is cohesive and consistent to her style, which is the film scan that I'm using as a reference. So I am then going to filter for red and green. So I'm going to use the red color-coded images to copy and paste the settings to the green color-coded. So red on the left, green on the right, main camera body on the left, second camera body on the right, pasting the settings, cropping, adjusting, raising exposure because that was needed, adjusting the mask to the dress. I think I deleted the mask for the glow because it was not needed. And as you can see, I stopped here, but it was a very good match. And let's move forward with the next video. We only have 3 more with this one. Here you can see what the image looked like when I finished, and then I moved to the next one, which was not look like a great match. In fact, I used the temp slider to hold down the image, and then as you can see, I touched there with that tool her skin because I was adjusting her skin tone with the color mixer tool that I talked to you about before. And here I'm creating Here I am creating a radial gradient, and I am lifting the blacks in that part of her face because it was in the shade. Let's move forward. adjusting the mask on the dress, deleting. I'm creating a new mask, mask number 4 for the gloves. And then I remember I went back and deleted mask number 3. I don't know if I show it here, but as you can see, I did not delete the mask number 2, which was the previous one for the gloves, but I know that I went back and did that when I was checking the edits, revising the edits at the end, doing the exact same thing here, cropping, straightening, pasting the settings. I mainly worked on the masks here. I adjusted the mask for the gloves. That looks much better. And then, so as you can see, I have one mask, which is the film background, and then mask number 2 is for the dress, and mask number 3 is for the gloves. I do use a lot of masks when emulating film or matching film scans because it's needed. I find that it's needed. Copying and pasting the settings. And let's move to the other video. After this one, we have the last one. So in here, I went to this image, pasted the settings. It was already looking great. Automatically detected the background, and I think that was it. It's very blurry, but very artistic. Copying the settings from this one, pasting the settings here, and I think I changed the reference to this film scan, which is what was better emulating, which was just better reference. Move to the next one, check that everything was looking great, and then move to the other one using this reference here. It's not a perfect reference, but of course you know you will not have that because I find that the majority of photographers I work with, D'Arcy shot a lot of a lot of film. So I had a lot of references to work with, but the majority of my clients only shoot like a couple of rolls, and then with those images, with those film scans, I use those to create it. Those are just enough for me as a photo editor to create a preset or create an edit for the digital anchor images. Here I am adjusting the image, as you can see, I'm using that tool from the color mixer to adjust the skin tone, and then I added a mask in that darker area where they are touching because there was a shadow there, a shade, and I left the blacks, which is also helping with the saturation of their skin in the shade. Then I moved to the next image, adjusted exposure because it was too bright. I think this looks already, yeah, in fact, I moved to the next image. It looks perfect. Move to the next image using this reference, pasting, cropping, lifting exposure. I was totally thinking about that. That needed more exposure. Changing the hue of the skin more towards peachy, and then moving to the next one. Copying and pasting the settings here, cropping. I just went back and copied and pasted since this one was not looking great. I went back to this image, copied the settings, pasted the settings. It was working way better, and adjusted from here. Cool down the image, adjusting the skin tone, and that's it. Copied the settings to move forward to the next image, which was this one. As you can see, it was too bright, decrease exposure, going to create a mask there with a radial gradient, lifting blacks, see the before and after. Before, very saturated, very contrasty. After that, just lift the blacks, much softer. I love it. Adjusted the skin tones, and that's it. And then I'm selecting red color coded, so main camera, main digital camera body, green color coded, second digital camera body, and film scans, which are yellow color coded. And I was checking with the loop view, which is L on the keyboard. And then I also open the survey mode, which is going to be the last video that I'm going to show you now. And I'm going to show you how I was checking for cohesiveness. So these are all of the film scans and all of the images that I edited. Let me go back. Here I was checking with the survey mode, and I'm going to share with you the last screen recording that I took from my screen, just showing you how I was. So basically, at the end of the previous video that I was showing you, I selected all green, red, and yellow images that I use for my matching process. And in here, I selected all those and used the survey mode to revise all of this together. And now what I'm going to do in this video is just select smaller batches of images, just making sure that those are more cohesive. I was highlighting this one because it was too warm, and so I did not use that to revise the cohesiveness. And then I'm moving to the next batch of images, revising cohesiveness. Basically, that's it. As you can see, these are yellow, red, and green. You can see the color codes there. And basically from here, if you see an image that sorry, needs to be tweaked, you can just click on an image, press D on your keyboard, and it's going to open the develop panel. And from there, you can make very quick adjustments, just to make sure that you are sorry, that you are better matching your film scans or better emulating the look of film that you want to achieve. That's it for today's video. I hope it was helpful. Let me know in the comments down below if you have any questions. Remember that in the description below, there is a link to my free editing guide that will also give you access to my email newsletter where I send out, you'll be the first one to know about discounts and about my editing course or my signature session where I create custom presets for you as I created for D'Arcy. And the film background preset is already on sale for a very small price on my website already. So if you're interested in that, you can go and purchase that one as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. I'm so excited. Ciao.